Last time I had a pretty good intro, but this time I'm just gonna say, these are my unpopular opinions. They're probably not that unpopular, but I just want to talk about them. Some of them are stupid, and you can leave me inflammatory comments below. I love the engagement. We'll just get right in. I'm gonna start off with a stupid, unpopular opinion. I don't like designer snakes. I'm not very interested in all the morphs that seem to be on the market now. I see them mostly for ball pythons, and seeing snakes that are $1,500 or more is very odd to me, and at a point I feel like it's more of a status symbol than a pet. I think a lot of people start getting very expensive, just designer animals because it's cool and it makes them look cool. And there's nothing wrong with that, but personally, I don't really see the point. I like the look of more natural colorings, and I like ball pythons as they are. I acknowledge this as a pretty stupid opinion because I don't like snake colors. It's just an odd thing to say. I do like those colors. It's just, I'm not gonna spend $20K for a cute little snake. I'm sure it's a lovely snake if it's bred right and doesn't have any neurological issues. I would rather just have a nice cute little $150 natural looking ball python. This really sounds like I'm one of those guys who's just like, I prefer girls without makeup. I think, if you wear makeup, you're lying. I feel like if you're a pumpkin ball python, then you are lying to me, and you need to be a normal ball python, because that's the most honest ball python there is. I think all pythons are great. I think all snakes are great. I just want to personally get them myself. I don't like calling it the reptile hobby. I think calling it a hobby commodifies the animals and makes it sound like it's something I do on my downtime when I'm bored. Like, oh, I think I'm going to take care of my animals now. But it's not like that. I have pets. I take care of them. They're my life. And I don't have the option of indulging in them like a hobby. It's a very weird thing. Again, these are unpopular opinions, but it's just something I've noticed that I'm like, hobby? It's weird that it's called that because I don't look at it that way. You don't have 5 dogs and say, yes, I am in the dog hobby. I have, a schnauzer, I have a pit bull, I have a bull terrier, and they're all my babies, my collection of dogs. I've never heard someone describe it that way. If you have, please let me know, because that's interesting. That's just what it brings to mind. It's my collection. That also just sounds like serial killer. My collection of animals. I love this pet. The gnats are like attracted to me right now. Going off the reptile hobby, I have the opinion that communities attract toxic people because you're gathering a bunch of people together with one interest, and you don't know who they are otherwise. There's bound to be some weirdos. I think especially the reptile hobby attracts the weirdos the most because owning snakes is kind of seen as this cool fringe thing to do. It's edgy. I've seen a lot of people like that in my lifetime. It just feels like they see these animals, again, more like a status symbol or more like a cool thing that makes them look, I don't know, tough or something, than it is about the actual animals. In every single community I've been a part of, there's just been some drama, some weirdos. Communities online are going to be toxic more than not because you just don't know who everyone is and you don't know what they're like outside of their interest for reptiles and whatever your special interest is. This one is the one I'm fearing may actually be controversial, but I think it should be discussed more, and that is having more than 10 pets. I don't think that's the best idea for most people. I have a gecko, a snake, and 3 hermit crabs, and I have 2 tanks, a shrimp tank, and a fish tank. That feels like enough to me. I could get more, but I already worry enough about my animals as is, and I already devote a lot of attention and time to them. I really like focusing on their personalities, getting to know their habits, their quirks, because they're all individual and all special. I feel like if I got too many animals, I wouldn't be able to dedicate that amount of focus and time on these animals. That's me. But I know that's true for a lot of other people, and I think when you watch these videos online and people have 100 animals, especially younger people will see that and go, I want that too. They can handle it. There's all these care sheets online. They're easily accessible. I can take in these animals. I feel like the great majority of people can't, and that's why there's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people who talk about rehoming animals, and that's a good thing, to rehome your animal when you can't take care of them. The issue comes when you're rehoming them and getting more and then rehoming them. This is specific to YouTubers and the pettube community, where I've noticed people are acknowledging that perhaps they have too many animals. They're starting to get an animal, talk about it a little bit, and then we never see the animal again. I think it's kind of deceitful. I'm not calling anyone specific out. I just have noticed this. The way I look at it is, at a zoo, they probably have 100+ animals, like a lot of these YouTubers, and there are several people to take care of them. I don't think it's possible, if you're one person, to catch everything that you should and keep watch on everything that you should and observe the way that you should. It becomes very difficult the more animals that you have if you're just one person. I feel like there's a lot of people who don't want to address that and really think about, is this right for me? Do I think I'm providing the best care for these animals that I can? And would it be okay for me to give up some of them? It's difficult because these are your pets, but I think it would be a lot better if pettube especially started focusing more on individual animals and specific species instead of bringing in all these animals so they have more content and more things to talk about. Some of my favorite channels, leopard gecko for instance, has just one species that they really focus on, and I really think that's unique, and I think that should be encouraged more. That's just me. Of course, 10 isn't like the hard limit. You could probably have more than 10. I'm not saying that that's just when you should stop, but I think that's a good point to really look at it and go, is this working out for me? And if it's not, then you need to readjust. There is no one right way to take care of an animal. I see a lot of people in YouTube comments and forums really get on someone about how they take care of their animals. And for things like leopard geckos being kept on sand, that's definitely wrong. You should never keep your leopard gecko on sand. That can cause impaction. But I think there's a lot of things that have nuances to them. Every animal is different, every animal is unique, and one animal might need a specific humidity, and all the care sheets say, oh, it needs 80% humidity, but you might find that your animal prefers a little drier. And when people notice that, they tend to assume that, you just don't know, and it's always okay to point that out to people. It's never a bad thing to just say, hey, I notice you're doing this. I don't know if you're aware, but this would be better, and that would invite discussion about it. I think that a lot of people kind of jump to the assumption that people are being intentionally harmful, and that really cuts off what could be a real conversation. Sometimes information that one keeper has might be outdated. Maybe they've been keeping for a long time and they aren't aware that this new study came out or new information is coming out. It's a good thing to share that. I think we should be kinder and more aware of how we talk to other people, especially on the internet, where it often feels like you can say whatever you want, or that's how a lot of people act. A lot of people just get really, really hateful and really mean. And I think that's a poor way of going about the situation and a poor way of discussing their animal care. Everyone's going to get defensive when they feel like they're being attacked. There's a lot of nuance when it comes to animal care. There's no one right way to take care of an animal, and yours might prefer something different. And if you're in that situation, it is okay to adjust your temperatures accordingly, to put lights in for a leopard gecko when usually people say that you shouldn't because they're a cave dwelling. A lot of people use UV lights because they notice that their gecko is more active when they're in there. Some people don't. It's a thing that you can kind of decide for yourself. I have poor posture. I'm sorry. the last thing I want to talk about is beginner animals. And I see a lot of videos about which snakes are the best for people just getting into the hobby. What is the best reptile to keep if you are a beginner? I don't overall have an issue with it. My main thing is, I feel like if you get into the hobby because you're interested in one specific snake, say that you really like green tree pythons, you're looking up information and you notice that they're temperamental, they have specific humidity requirements, they're very tricky, and a lot of keepers will recommend against owning those for beginners, and they'll say beginners shouldn't try and keep those animals, but this is the only snake that you want. I think that you should get that animal instead of going and trying to take care of a beginner animal that you're not as interested in. Not everyone wants to have like 5 or more pets. Some people just want to have one. And I don't want to discourage anyone from getting that one specific animal they really have a special interest in. Gnats. I don't believe in stepping stone pets. I don't think that you should get one animal and just build up to the hardest. If you're interested in the hardest animal, do your research, talk to people who have taken care of them, people who've been in the hobby a very long time. Just do your research. You just have to be aware of some being delicate, some may not like to eat, and you're going to have to really deal with that and find a good vet and take care of it. Yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully the shit isn't blurry. There's gonna be so much crap footage in here I'm gonna have to sort through. There's one single gnat flying around my camera. I'm done. This is fine. This was good, right? Let me know below. Let me know if you have any unpopular opinions. Let me know if you think my unpopular opinions are not unpopular or just garbage, and we can fight about it.